18th Prison Board of Inspectors meeting. We'll open the opportunity for public comment at this time. Is there any members of the public who would like to offer some comment at this time? Oh, Warden, sure, go ahead.
I just want to send our prayers out to Blair County Prison, the warden Abby Tate and her staff for a tragedy that happened yesterday at around 3 o'clock at the courthouse of losing one of their staff members. I just want to let the board know it's a tragic. It hits us all at home. It's part of the correctional family, and we're just sending our prayers out to them.
Okay, thank you, Warden. Thank you for offering that. Any other public comment at this time? Okay, we are hearing none. We will go forward with our approval of our minutes from our last meeting in October. Is there a motion to approve those minutes?
Motion to approve the minutes, Controller Moser.
Second, Dersham.
Okay, it's been moved by Controller Moser, seconded by Commissioner Dersham. All those in favor of approving the minutes do so by saying aye. Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion is carried. And we'll turn it over to the warden for his monthly reports.
Good morning, everybody. I hope everybody's having a good morning so far. Starting off with our returning citizen services report with our reentry or Center County mental health with Amy Miller. A year ago, she was only doing phone interviews of 17. This year, she's seen 8. However, because she just came back the last couple weeks ago, because she was out on a medical leave. Out of those 8, we referred. There's 3 referred to PSU Psych and 6 to Crossroads Mental Health. Dr. Wolf, our PSU Psych Clinic, they're still virtual. There are 12 returning citizens that received the total month of October. Crossroads, drug and alcohol, there's 11 male returning citizens. They meet 4 times per month. 3 female returning citizens, they meet 4 times per month. Mental health group, 3 male returning citizens, 4 times per month, and 2 female returning citizens, 4 times a month they meet. Going into our in-house Center County Compass program, male group is a total of 17 that's participating. We have 2 peer supports. They meet 4 times per week for 4 weeks. We have a female group of 6 returning citizens with 1 peer support, meeting 4 times per week for 4 weeks. We had 1 graduation in October as 1 male. Our work release and community reentry centerpiece is total of 4, county maintenance 2, grounds is 2, and work release it was 1. A year ago we had 0 in work release. Our present monthly report on our population is a snapshot of October 31st, 2021. At that day we had a total of 207 returning citizens. Out of the 207, 126 was from Center County, 16 females, 110 males. Unsentenced was 83, 14 females, 69 males. County sentence was 32, 2 females, 30 males. State sentence 11, 11 males. Out of the 207, 81 is from out of county, 21 females, 60 males. Unsentenced 39, 15 females, 24 males. County sentence was 39, 6 females, 33 males, and state sentence was 3 males. For our whole month of daily populations throughout the month of October, we pretty much started our first of the month was Center County was 123, 65 Tennant County inmates. Center County stayed pretty level the whole way across. We ended with 125. Our Tennant County inmates, we went from 65, we went up to 82 at this time. Our prison monthly report on our Center County unsentenced population, again, this is a snapshot from October 31st, 2021. Individuals that are in here on new charges were 34 males, 1 female, total of 35. Probation and parole only were 12 males, 5 females, a total of 17. Probation/parole with new charges were 21 males, 7 females, a total of 28, with our total of unsentenced population of 80. Our behavior modification status, we have 4 on tier 0. Tier 1, we were 1, and the tier 5 or 4 out on population is 15. A co-occurring disorder, a year ago we had 16 out of the intake of 140. This year we had 14 out of 88, comes out to 16%. Only 3 out of the 14 were on or have not filled their medications at this time. Out of the 14, 12 were from center, 2 females, 10 males, and 2 out of county, 2 females. Suicide watch a year ago was 14. This past October was 17. Out of the 17, 15 was from center, 5 females, 10 males, and 2 was from out of county, 1 female, 1 male. 0 was detoxing out of that group. The detox total a year ago was 12, 11 from center, 1 from out of county. This year was 22, 3 females, 19 males. Out of the 22 was 18 from center, 3 females, 15 males, 4 from out of county, and that was 4 males. The substance detox by the numbers. Alcohol actually took the prize this month with 8 coming in from center, but heroin was 4, 3 from center, 1 from others. 2 was benzo from center, 2. Meth was 1 from center. Alcohol was 8 from center. Suboxone was 1 from out of county. Multiple, we had 1 from center that was on alcohol, meth, and Suboxone. We had 3 from center with benzo and heroin. We had 1 from out of county was meth and Suboxone, and 1 from center with heroin and meth. Our 5-month number, we had 1 individual receive his injection, and then we had another one receive their second injection in the month of October, with our inmate receiving injections prior to release is 26. Second injection prior to release was 16. Whoever returned with follow-up shots is 7. Again, we're still having difficulties retaining that number once they get released, getting that number back from our Vivitrol provider. We had 0 at the hospital for any stay. Our COVID results, symptomatic testing, we had 1 positive, 79. Actually, we had 2. We actually have 2 positives right now. I didn't adjust that this morning. With 79 recover. Asymptomatic was 857 was negative, 2 positive, and 65 recovered at this time. Total seen by physician and PA a year ago was 116. It matched this number this year is 116. The total medical transport outside physicians a year ago was 39. This past October was 14. Individual seen a year ago was 248. This past year was 239. Psychiatrists a year ago was 122. This past October was 77. Mental health patients on psychotropic medications for the entire month of October. A year ago was 156, which was 67.5% of our population. Our ADP was 231 at that time. This past October it was 110, 56.1% of our ADP of 196. The daily average patient diagnosed with mental health was a total of 135 out of 196 ADP. A year ago, again, we had an ADP of 231. Category C was 157, which was 68% of our population. Category D was 23 with 10% of our population. This past October, again, the ADP was 196, so Category C was 115, coming out to 58.7% of our population. Category D was 20, coming out 10.2% of our population. Mental health stability ratings, entire population snapshot of October 31st, 2021. Starting off with stability code A is 31, which is 15% of our population. Stability code B is 30 with 15% of our population. Stability code C is 123, which is 59% of our population. Stability code D is 23 with 11% of our population, with a total of 207. Nobody was waiting placement at this time. Stability rating by county, starting off with stability code A. Blue is Center County, orange is Tennant County. Stability code A for Center County is 22, and that'd be males. For out of county is 9, which is males. Center County Stability Code B is 19, 18 males, 1 female. Stability Code B for out of county is 11, 10 males, 1 female. Stability Code C, Center County, 58 males, 11 females with a total of 69. Stability Code C, out of county is total of 54 with 18 females and 36 males. Stability Code D for Center County is 13 males, 3 females, total of 16. And for out of county is 5 males, 2 females with a total of 7. Inmate grievance report. A year ago we had 14. This past October we had 12. 1 was non-grievable. 4 was grievable. 2 was founded. We have 0 appeals to the first or second appeals level. 7 refused. 1 was personal property items was mistakenly confiscated during a general housing unit search. All items were replaced. And another one was law library, temporarily fixed. IT is working with the vendor LexisNexis to fix this. So we're just waiting on our IT provider to be able to assist with this to get it fixed. Central Booking Center. A year ago we booked 250. This past October, 171. We're down 79 bookings. 11 to 7 booked 36. 7 to 3 was 43. 3 to 11 was 92. And that's it, sir.
Okay, thank you, Warden. Any questions from members of the Prison Board of Inspectors for the Warden on his monthly reports? Any comments? Okay, we're hearing none or seeing none. Any members of the public wish to make any public comment on any of the monthly reports? Okay, Janet, the floor is yours.
Hi, I hope you can hear me.
We can, yes.
Okay, great. I have a question about the law library. Back in the day, I had a memory of the law library actually being updated by getting a new CD. Am I to understand that it's changed?
I'm going to have Deputy Gordon take care of this.
No, that didn't change. What changed was typically each housing unit has its own law library computer that comes back to one in-house server. The latest update with the law library that came out, we're having problems with that server communicating out to each of the computers. So instead of each law library currently being on each housing unit, which is a little more accessible, right now we only have one computer that's working. It's in a common area and they sign up to come down to use it. So everybody still has plenty of access to get the time they need. It's not overbooked. It's just not as conveniently located on the unit right now. And we hope to be able to restore that original setup instead of us having to manage sign up, come down, use it, sanitize, go back, next person, sign up, come down, use it, sanitize, go back. So it's just a little more of a hassle on our plate for right now. But it is up and running, and it is still the kind of updates we had before.
Thank you. That's such a great explanation. If I could just ask a follow-up question. People who are in quarantine, do they have access to the law library?
Yes, they do. We're making sure that we put the non-quarantine units first in the day, and then if someone in quarantine or isolation needs to use it, then we do negatives first, exposures second through the day in terms of grouping, and then positives would be last. And of course, we're sanitizing the room and the computer in between each individual, regardless of group. So that they are allowed to sign up for that.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the question, Janet. Brian, please.
I had a question. Warden Shell, can you go back to the slide on the virus testing, please? I just had a question on the testing. How often are you doing that? Are they getting tested once a week, for example?
These are, what we do is when they come in, they're tested right away. Day 5, they're tested, and then day 10, they're tested. So
okay, this is testing on intake.
This is the total numbers, and actually the numbers are a little off, and I apologize for that because I just updated them this morning. I'm trying to pull up my email. So right now, we're looking at 234. Yeah, we have 2 positive that were symptomatic. They were new admits from Schuylkill. if I can get the other one. Asymptomatic numbers is not 857. It is actually 944 and 0 positive, and recovered was 67. Are our numbers. But we have been testing everybody that comes in the door. Anybody that feels ill or has a symptom, we test them immediately upon request.
Okay, that helps me understand. You're not testing everybody constantly to see what pops up. It's mostly when people come in, that's when you see it.
Yeah, we're seeing it in both aspects. But what we do is if there's a housing unit and somebody comes up and they have a symptom and we test them, say it's an A4 unit, they test it, and if the individual is negative, that's fine. We don't do any more testing at that time, but we will ask the unit, is anybody else feeling ill? And we'll test them. If there's a positive, what we do is we remove them from the unit, quarantine them, and then we test the whole unit, and then we do a regimen of testings throughout the 10 days, and making sure nobody else comes up positive.
Got it. Okay.
Okay.
And one other question, do you feel like it's getting better or getting worse? Like, are there more cases or less cases?
I think we have less, in a sense. We're able to contain it better now than we have in the past. Right now is when it happens in a unit. If a positive pops up, we're able to contain that to maybe 1 or 2 people instead of the entire unit getting exposed or coming up positive. So our staff has done a great job with that, identifying it, separating it, quarantining it. Right away, once they test everybody, they go in there and they do a whole massive cleaning and clean everything to make sure that everything's clean and there's no virus laying around on the stainless steel tops or anything like that. So yes.
Very helpful. Thank you.
No problem, sir.
Okay, thank you, Brian. Any other questions or comments from members of the public?
I have a question, a follow-up question.
Go ahead, Connie.
When a block is identified as having the virus, what is the procedure for quarantining or isolating the rest of the block?
What we do is we have out-of-cell time. We kind of limit the out-of-cell time with them. We rotate that out-of-cell time around there. So there's so many people would come out at a time just to ensure until the quarantine time is over.
So there is a lot of time isolated in their cells when an exposure happens in a block?
They're probably out at least 7 hours a day.
All of them or some of them?
In a total, everybody's out probably about 7 hours a day, 6 to 7 hours a day.
Okay.
It's on a rotation. So it's usually like top tier, bottom tier.
And where are they eating their meals?
They're usually the bottom. If it's top and bottom tier, the bottom tier will be out eating in the day room.
Okay.
Okay, thank you for those comments, Connie. Any other members of the public that would like to make a comment for the warden's reports? Okay, hearing none, we'll move forward then and head into our old business. And this would be an update on the COVID-19 operations within the facility.
Thank you, sir. Just reviewing our programs, it's highlighted there in red with the inside out program with PSU. We've been doing that virtual. It's been pretty, the returning citizens enjoy that, and I think PSU and their professors and the students at Penn State enjoy the collaboration and the communication back and forth through this program. So I'm kind of pleased with that, working with Efron with all that. Again, our programs still continue the same with the phone calls, meetings, GED, so forth, in-person Compass, Center County Mental Health, the chaplain service, probation, are visiting through non-contact public defenders, private attorneys, interviews for public defender's office, and anybody else that comes in that wants to meet, like prison society or anything else like that. Videos, access church services. We actually revamped that. Instead of taking it to the unit and showing it, we actually have a sign up now that whoever wants to go, they can sign up, and we remove them and put them into one of our program units or program attorney-client rooms, and then they're able to watch the video, and then we sanitize, clean everything, and then we bring the next unit up. Just what we're experiencing there with the Access churches is they want to watch it, but then they get a little bit of peer pressure from everybody else, and then the next thing they watch it. Then if nobody's watching, then the officer turns it off. So it's better for anybody who wants to attend the church service. We remove them, let them have their own time for their church service now in one of our program rooms. Again, in process of adding our leadership program with Centerpiece. We're still looking to do that once we get in person. We're amped for that as well. Just going off, I got to move this. Moving on to our COVID rapid testing, just a little bit as I explained it earlier to Brian. We received our COVID rapid test for free from the Department of Health. However, right now that's on hold. They're not giving any out to the counties at this point. We received two shipments, one in October of 2020 and one in February 2021. The issue is they gave us a lot. We've been using a lot, and our expiration date is December of this year. So we asked the board if we're able to purchase more. We got a very good rate on them compared to what Prime Care was getting a rate on. So we bought direct, took the middle person out of it. So how that works, each new intake commitment is tested 3 times, one upon intake and commitment, day 5, and the last day of quarantine. As long as they receive all negative, they come out of quarantine. If there's a positive, then we start our 14-day quarantine again at that point. If somebody comes in and we can verify that they were vaccinated, the verification happens. We test them upon intake, and then they get a 5-day quarantine. 5-day quarantine. Upon negative, they get released on day 5 at that time. In November, we purchased some COVID rapid tests through the American Rescue Plan Act, and I thank the commissioners for that, as well as Margaret Gray. At this point, DOH will not provide to the county correctional facilities for any free ones. They're evaluating that monthly, so we may be able to get some free ones down the road, but right now we purchased 1,200 with an expiration date of November of 2022. We're still doing COVID-19 vaccine. We just had a 7th COVID vaccine booster and boosters clinic from Boalsburg Apothecary, still conducting that for us. Moderna, we had 6 returning citizens receive their first. We had 2 receive their second dosage, and we had 1 received a booster. Johnson & Johnson is 5 returning received their first injections, and we have November 9th, roughly 10th, I think they might be having another. They had another one. I wasn't sure when they came in, and I don't have those. Not have those numbers next month, but that was their 8th vaccinate booster. Then they have it scheduled again for sometime in December. Everybody that receives their first injection receives a 25 incentive program, and that's it for the old, sir.
Okay, thank you, Warden. We'll pause here just for that first one to see if there's any questions from the prison board. Any questions from the prison board on those items? Okay, hearing none. Any public comment on those first 2 items? Oh, I'm sorry. Was that you, Judge? Okay, never mind. Sorry. So for the public comment, we did have Connie. Yes.
I'd just like to go back to the programming in the church service report. Am I to understand that there's going to be a sign-up sheet every week in the block for people to sign up for viewing the service?
That is correct. They started that this week.
Okay, because there was some confusion on the block B2. The students in my parenting class got to see it one week, and then the next week it wasn't available. So I'll make sure that they understand they have to sign up every week in order to do that.
Okay, thank you, Connie. Brian, yes.
Also, Warden Shell, on that church service, does that mean that the people from the block, whoever signs up, they go together as a group?
The block
Watch
goes together. Yeah, the block
Okay.
goes together. We don't cross contaminate blocks or units. So if it's B1, they go at a certain time. Once they're done, everything's sanitized, cleaned, and then when they go back, we go to like B2, and then when B2 comes up, we do the same thing, clean everything, move them down, and then go to A4, A3, et cetera, A2, and so forth, C units as well. So it's a long process, but it's the way we have to do it.
I think it's an excellent idea. I mean, I would imagine the person, I feel like they're going to church instead of kind of sitting in the common area. I think it's an excellent idea. I'm really glad to hear that.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, any other public comment on those items? Okay, we're seeing none, then we'll head into our next section there, other county protocols and this is for the vaccine and testing.
Yes, last month it was brought to our attention that the board would like us to go out to the other county jails and see and actually we got a good response. A lot of times we don't get 48 counties responding, so we're kind of pleased we got 48 counties that responded. 43 out of 48 are not requiring anything except are requiring testing for symptoms or exposure. Five have implemented something. So Allegheny, all county employees, including the jail, must be vaccinated by 12/1/2020 or be terminated. Bucks County, all county employees, including the jail, must have be vaccinated by 10/1/21 or will be terminated. Erie County is all new county employees hired after October 1st is required to be vaccinated. No requirements for current employees hired before October 1st except must wear a mask. Lackawanna, all new correctional staff required to be vaccinated. Current staff are offered but not required anything. Philadelphia, vaccines are not mandatory. If not, must provide weekly testing and wear a double mask. That is what we came out of with the 48 response of the counties that we got. Yes.
Okay, thank you, Warden. So let's pause there just for a second to just take this in real quick. So essentially, it looks like most of the counties that have some sort of vaccine mandate are doing it for all county employees. They're not just singling it out for the corrections staff that we're seeing.
Correct.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, the Allegheny, Bucks, and Erie is all county employees. Lackawanna is just all the warden did there was respond back to me as what they're doing in the correctional staff is any new correctional staff are required, but nobody that has been working there is required anything. In Philadelphia, is they're not requiring vaccination, just that if you're not vaccinated, you got to provide weekly testing and wear a double mask.
Okay. Okay. So there's a total of 67 counties, as we know. For the counties that did not respond, I'm just trying to figure out who those counties would be, or
there's only 63 county jails.
Okay.
61, yeah. So 61 others than us. So I can tell you there's Susquehanna. Trying to think here who it was. Cool. I'd have to get my list in the office for that, but
No, that's okay. I'm thinking like Montgomery, Chester, Delaware. Were they not doing anything, or they did not respond?
Delaware did not respond.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, Delaware is private. I know they're going out of the private sector. Mungo, I didn't think they're doing anything. Montgomery County, I'm sorry, we just call them Mungo. They respond, I think, are not doing anything. Lehigh is not. Everything that Janine Donate emailed me back was that the county requested everybody to give a copy to the HR director if they were vaccinated, and then she has not heard anything since that part that was put out to the whole county. So she says there might be something coming later, but right now, currently, when I asked her, she says there's nothing for the entire county at this point.
Okay. I think, I'll start it off and then we can discuss as a board, but it seems like at this point, the warden has implemented, and his team has implemented a good strategy about how we're keeping the virus out of the jail, being very cautious as we're taking new admits. And also we increased about 15% the out-of-county returning citizens during October and November. So you've been able to take that increase and not have any serious spread or outbreak, but I think that's commendable. So it seems like the current approach is working. And as we get more folks vaccinated, our staff and also folks inside the incarcerated folks, that's going to, again, keep cases down. So I'll offer this. I think that the strategy is working at this point. I don't know if we need to go to mandated testing or mandated vaccine or testing at this point. I think it's working well. I think we can always look at this every month and consider it. I think as we get more data from those other counties that haven't responded, I think that might be helpful. If the warden, if you could, or somebody in your team, Chris, could look at maybe just news articles about what those counties are doing, even if they haven't responded, or if you actually, the commissioners, and I know some of the other elected officials have their annual conferences. We've got our conference there for CCAP. County Commissioners Group is meeting next week. I'd be happy to ask some of those county commissioners who didn't respond what they're doing, in their counties, just so that we can get an up-to-date list. I think that just would be helpful, so we have a better perspective and data on this. I think we'd be happy to check in on that. I know the Controllers Conference just happened, but anyway. So I'll start there. I think the approach is working. I don't know if we need to implement anything at this time, but I'll start there. And if there's any other feedback or thoughts from the board, we can discuss it.
I will send the list of counties that did not respond to the board members and Commissioner Pipe.
Thank you.
Mike, I just wanted to, this is Controller Moser, I just wanted to echo really what you said. I think Warden Shell and his team have demonstrated really since last year, safety measures and protocols. You see articles about other facilities that are having large outbreaks, sometimes repeatedly. We really haven't had that overall. And just actually the Controllers Conference is happening as we speak. So and I'm in the office because my deputy's out of town, but I can follow up because there is some chat going on with that and see maybe if we get any feedback from them as well. But I haven't heard from them yet.
Okay, thank you, Controller Moser. Any other thoughts from the board?
This is Commissioner Higgins. Seems to me like the warden has a good plan in place, and unless things change drastically, we should continue what we've been doing.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Higgins.
And
any other thoughts?
Yeah, I just would like to thank the warden and his team for gathering the information. I think it does seem like the mitigation efforts have been successful to date. I just also, I think that, the last almost 2 years now has shown us anything, it's that things change so quickly. And we've all had to adapt really very quickly to changing situations. So having this information, really will be very helpful in terms of if we need to make any changes along the line, and just having a good sense of experience in other counties and things that they're doing. So thank you.
Thank you, Judge Oliver, for those comments. Thank you. So it seems like at this point we have a consensus to stay with the current strategy and update the data as we get more information from other counties and as the situation changes. Any other thoughts or comments before we open it up to public comment? Okay. Hearing no other comments from the board, we will open it up for public comment. Is there any members of the public who'd like to respond to that, ask any questions? Okay, Connie, please.
Wait, okay.
I respectfully disagree that it's okay how it's working. I do believe that if we could reduce the exposures more, you would have less aggravation in the facility. And I have information that Montgomery County has required their employees to be vaccinated or be terminated. So I'm not sure why you don't have that information. And for the rest of the Board of Inspectors, that I did make a comment publicly at the Commissioners meeting on Tuesday that the Prison Society fully supports vaccinate or test weekly. And I guess I really want to emphasize, I think that's important for our community, not just the facility, but for the rest of us in the community to reduce exposures by being vaccinated. So, thank you.
Thank you, Connie. And I think the way the warden approached the data collection was to ask counties directly, but there is, I think you're hinting at this, there is an ability for us to almost do a Google search and find that out. So I think that's going to be the next step as we go forward. But that was just a first blush to reach out directly to the county wardens associations. But we appreciate your comments, and we did share with the warden a video of your comments, so he knew where you were coming from, and we had an idea of what your comments would look like. But we hope that the fact that we've purchased more rapid tests is a sign that we could go, and there are some facilities who are doing this where they are not relying on rapid tests. They might be relying on the PCR tests that take a considerable amount of time. But with the rapid tests, we can hopefully decrease the time that we have uncertainty within the facility for our staff and other folks. So, but I think this is an opportunity for us to agree to disagree, but we certainly hear your comments loud and clear. So thank you, Connie. Janet, please.
Yes, hi, thank you. First, I want to say thank you to Connie for pulling together all of the data and information that she used for the commissioners meeting on Tuesday. I don't think that there's any question about the staff and administration effort to contain COVID at CCCF. It's been remarkable, and that isn't the problem. The problem is that it's happening in spite of the fact that there is no monitoring of the COVID status of the staff and the corrections officers. And so, and what we're talking about here is just sticking a stick up your nose, right? I mean, so the thing that we're asking for is unbelievably simple. And the amount of work that the warden and his staff have done is unbelievably complex, in part because they have no control over what happens to the corrections officers and the staff, except if they self-report. And that isn't always the case because, you know, you might want to get the income from being there, and so you conceal, you know, your COVID status. And so I'm asking the board to reconsider the fundamental unfairness of the, you know, extensive testing and quarantining of the returning citizens there, and the complete lack of any kind of oversight except for self-reporting on the part of the corrections officers. And that balance could easily be sort of evened out just a little bit. That would reduce the tension in the jail. I don't want to speak for the warden, but honestly, I think it would make his job easier. And he's not going to say one way or the other because he just does what the board says. And so I think that you all have a real obligation to think about what you might be able to do here in order to improve the situation. Thank you.
Thank you, Janet. We all can take a moment to appreciate how important this discussion is, and we appreciate the fact that the Prison Society is being vocal on this, advocating for individuals in the jail. I think we're, as a board, are looking for pragmatic approaches for how we deal with this challenge. And this is the one. This approach has worked, and I think there's a real sense that it has a lot of benefits to it. And there are some downsides for the approach that you're suggesting. And I think that through the collaborative process we've had with the warden, he's been able to bring us a lot of good data about what's occurring in other facilities. And we have to respect the fact that the majority of jails are not looking at the approach that you're suggesting. It's not saying that we're completely taking it off the table. It's just at this moment, we believe it's not the best approach for our correctional facility at this time. But again, as the situation changes, we will be revisiting this. So also the other thing as well is, I don't want to speak for the other counties or make suggestions, but I would have to imagine a lot of the counties that are not requiring anything might have made that decision and basically are not revisiting it. We're a little different here. We're open to the fact that data is going to change, situation is going to change, and we're going to constantly revisit this. But at this time right now, we're not going with that approach. So again, I think we'll have to agree to disagree at this time. But again, feel free to send us more data and other information that you might have, and we'll go from here. And we always appreciate the fact that Warden does, let us know when we're somewhere, we might need to be somewhere else. He's been him and his team have always led with the approach of we're going to give them the straight facts, and we as a board might not like it, but we have to hear the truth sometimes when we don't want to, when it's inconvenient. So he's done a great job with that. I think he's going to continue doing a great job. Is there any other public comment at this time on that matter? And Warden, if you wanted to make some comments, please.
Just a little bit on Mungo County. They implemented that on October 18th. I emailed the warden on the 14th after our meeting, and he responded at that day. So that's why I have that data as they are not doing anything, because Mungo implemented on the 18th. So there's a couple days, there's 4 days difference when they implemented that testing. Vaccination are being tested once a week.
Okay, thank you, Warden. Any other public comment on this matter before we go forward? Okay.
Yes, please.
Oh, I'm
Actually,
sorry.
no, that's okay. I'm sorry. I had my hand raised, but I know you've got multiple things you're watching. So the only
Thank
thing
you.
I wanted to say is this, and I hadn't heard the comment made, so I wanted to make it. I appreciate everything that's said. We all want everyone to be kept safe. But if you have not been in a position where you're trying to hire and maintain a staff while balancing keeping everyone safe, the testing, whether you can mandate it, whether you can require it, it is incredibly difficult. And I have a small staff. I don't have a correctional facility that I'm trying to staff. And I appreciate trying to balance everything while maintaining a staff. It is very difficult to find qualified employees that will work at a rate that can keep you going. And you're constantly balancing what you can ask them to do. As common sense as it is incredibly difficult. So I appreciate the position that you're in staffing a correctional facility, because I have had a position open for months, 79 applications, still can't find someone. So I just wanted to mention that you're keeping the facility staffed, you're trying to keep everyone safe, and that is a very difficult thing when you start mandating what employees have to do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Kathy, for that. Any other comments? I want to make sure we give everybody the opportunity if there was any other commenter. Okay. Seeing none, we will move ahead into our monthly reports for other matters, and Carrie is not joining us today, but we do want to give the opportunity back to the Prison Society if there was anything that you wanted to update us on, please.
Go ahead, Janet.
No, I have no report. I was going to throw it over to Connie, so thank you.
I hope that you were able to get a copy of the session 5 parenting class report. I thought I would catch Denise before she sent out the meeting agenda for today, but it was a successful program, and session 6 has started. I have men from Block B2 who have now recruited 5 more men who will be participating in another session at the end of this one. It'll be abbreviated because I'll be going to Florida in December, but I see a real interest in the program, and it should make a difference for parents and children. So thanks for the opportunity to be able to offer this.
Absolutely, Connie. The session 5 evaluation did go out with our agenda packet, so we did get that. And the comments by students is always something that's a really important thing for us to take a look at. And many of us are parents, and to read some of the things that the students are saying in the class are really, it's really heartwarming and really important to hear. And so thank you as always for putting this together and sending it out. It's really important. There were some challenges that they recognized in terms of the class, in terms of just the operations of it, but they're doing a great job with it. So we really, again, appreciate you sending this out every time. Thank you. Okay. All right. Thank you to the members of the Prison Society for being with us today in the reports. We will turn it then over to Kathy Brown from Centerpiece to round us out.
All right, thank you. We received 4 trainees, which we are very appreciative of. We got them just in time for our Thanksgiving meal. The staff prepares the Thanksgiving. The guys were thrilled that came. We do a Thanksgiving meal. We did it Monday. The staff cooks for all the volunteers, for our returning citizens, so they all had a Thanksgiving meal. We do it. We used to go to a church in the evening. We now, because of COVID, do it internal here because we have obviously a lot of tables and chairs that we can separate people out. It's a really nice time, and I was thrilled that the guys were back in time for it. Talking about requiring staff, we have required our staff to be vaccinated. If they are not vaccinated, they must be tested weekly, and that is to keep our returning citizens safe. That is to keep our volunteers safe, each other safe, our customers safe. So that is something that we're doing. We actually purchased rapid tests internally that we'll have here to test individuals. Right now, there's only a handful of individuals that have not been vaccinated who have said they will be vaccinated. So we're doing everything we can to keep people safe, but it's difficult. The entrepreneurial class that I'm a part of through Centerpiece, unfortunately, we had 2 of those classes that were canceled because of external things that were happening, but we will be back at it, and we're trying to look at how you can revamp that class and kind of make up some lost sessions. And the other thing is I'm working on a new initiative. It's going to take collaboration and partnerships. I've requested meetings from various individuals, but what this would do is it's definitely blue sky, but it is a pathway that begins with something that happens while they're incarcerated, such as taking the Compass course, things like that. But it is a pathway for them to leave and re-enter that would then, if they are able to stay violation free, if they are able to do this, and that, their retraining that would provide them either certification, licensing, maybe through the certificate program at Penn State, that would be paid for them. And it gives them a pathway to success. It gives them something to focus on. For those with an addiction problem, for those with other issues, it makes this more attractive than this. So, we're trying to put that together. And like I said, there's a lot to be done for it. It's going to be a collaboration with entities. I've requested meetings with various parties, but I will keep you all up on that because I think it could be, I want Centre County to become the benchmark that other counties look at for restorative justice and emulate programs that we have in place for reentry that ultimately reduce the recidivism rate. So I'm excited about that. I can't say anything more than that because I'm still trying to pull all the parts together for it, but I'll keep you up on it as I go. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kathy. Thank you. Okay. Before we adjourn, I think the warden has it there. We wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. We'll see everybody in December. And we would, at this time, look for a motion to adjourn the November meeting.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Been moved by Commissioner Higgins and seconded by Controller Moser to adjourn today's meeting. All those in favor of doing so, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you all. Take care.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.